In the first half, Manchester United had the same number of passes to the final third than in the defensive third. They usually started on the left and tried to finish on the right. Lisandro Martínez and Shaw were the men in charge of this because they had the most accurate passes. Erik Ten Hag's Manchester United usually built up with 2 centre-backs and 1 fullback. However, many times Fred moved forward to create a space for Luke Shaw, who came to the central channels. When both fullbacks moved inside, Newcastle waited in Zone B with 6 players, therefore they had a numerical superiority over Casemiro, Dalot and Shaw. As a consequence, one fullback had to drop back and try to create a space for a centre-back, but when Varane tried to progress with the ball, he was pressed, so he had to play back with Dalot. As Newcastle strikers went to press Dalot and Martínez, they played backwards, so De Gea had to play long. In order to break Newcastle's pressure, they waited for the strikers' pressure and Luke Shaw moved inside to receive with space. He could progress with the ball and he usually connected with Rashford. When Man United was able to overcome the pressure, they usually had Weghorst and Bruno free between the lines, since Newcastle's midfielders are close to the possessor. Thus, when Shaw was able to connect with them, the wingers like Rashford started to run inside because they tried to take advantage of the space between the opponent's fullback and centre-back. As the pass didn't give him advantage to keep running inside, he tried to play it with Antony and Bruno Fernandes, who had a 2 versus 2 on the opposite flank. On the other hand, when Manchester United tried to press, Newcastle overcame the pressure easily, because Bruno Guimaraes was smart to detect the free spaces and moved away from his mark. As Bruno Fernandes didn't stop him, this created a space between him and Fred, which Guimaraes took advantage of it. Also, this created a 2 versus 1 against Fred, therefore it was easy for Newcastle to arrive to the final third. They were smart to keep progressing with the ball because on the right flank they also created a 2 versus 1 against Luke Shaw. As Fred tried to follow this midfielder, Guimaraes had a space in front of him. Almiron and Longstaff attracted to Fred and Shaw, and this created a space for Trippier's run. As a consequence, he received with space to cross the ball. On the second post, Newcastle had 2 strikers to attract one centre-back and create a space between Varane and Lisandro Martínez. Nevertheless, Varane was outstanding. In the same way, Lisandro Martínez was solid in defense because Newcastle kept overloading the right side with Almiron and Trippier. Thus, Trippier had space since Almiron attracted Shaw and Rashford. However, Lisandro Martínez knows what's coming next and moved to the first post because he knows that Trippier will cross the ball. Newcastle's player is free to run to the first post. However, Lisandro Martínez intercepted the ball. On the right side, Diego Dalot had troubles against Saint-Maximin, since he had a yellow card early in the first half and Saint-Maximin's skills were tough to stop. Dalot waited far from him, but this created a space behind him. Newcastle's midfielder ran to this space and received free. Casemiro has to decide to stay with Joelinton in the edge of the box or kept running to the box, so he was smart to anticipate the movement and recover the ball. When things were complicated for Man United, a run from Marcus Rashford gave them a free kick. Luke Shaw played a fantastic cross to the box where Casemiro had 3 players close to him, but he was between the center backs because Weghorst attracted to one and this created a little gap between them. With a great movement of his neck, Casemiro scored. Casemiro kept playing a crucial role in defense since he intercepted the ball and played with Rashford, who had a space between the opponent's midfielders and defenders. As he received with time, he could play with Weghorst, who also had a space in front of him because Bruno Fernandes is attracting one center back and Trippier is out of position thanks to Marcus Rashford. He ran behind Weghorst and attacked the space between the center backs. On the right time, Weghorst played a through ball between the fullback and the center back. Meanwhile, Rashford is running between the center backs. With a great touch, he moved away from both men and scored. For the second half, Erik Ten Hag fixed the right side, since Wan Bissaka had better defensive skills than Dalot. Therefore, Saint-Maximin tried to overcome Wan Bissaka with his great skills, but Wan Bissaka was faster than him to deflect the ball and stop him. Also, when Erik Ten Hag brought in Sabitzer, Man United recovered the ball higher. Sabitzer knows that behind him there is one free player. For that reason, in the right time, he recovered the ball, and as soon as he stood up, he played with Rashford. He had a one-to-one situation, and also Anthony was running to the space. However, Rashford decided to shoot, and that's how Man United lost many options to score in the second half. Leave your thoughts about Erik Ten Hag's tactics in this game, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by Mètrica Sports, the fundamental tool for every coach and analyst. Create and manage all your video analysis in one platform. Use coupon NasirSelad at checkout for a 10% discount.